Good afternoon. ASIO Director General National Security, Harr Gunatilaka ASIO. We did 5,000 cases with the ADF, with the US military. We had the satellite tracking for every case and what they said. Every interaction with these people was shit and death. Because they're all pedophiles. The people that all the cases, every case is the people that identified them. Identified a case, you said something about a child murder case. You rang up and notified the police about something, about a child predator, or you notified the police about the Pogmore case. Every case they said Badar, every murder case they said that Badar murdered Michelle Pogmore and they were then murdered. Every case, the intersection points. So we got that in brief 921, the intersection points. Every interaction with them, they're getting away with child murder. Every time they ring you, every time they say something on the television, they're getting away with child murder. You can see from the interaction points. And ASIO are picking them up. So we have the satellite tracking. So I'll go over that again. ASIO did 5,000 cases with satellite tracking for each case. They're all pedophiles. It's because you identified them in a particular case or you sent some information in about child murder case. Is everything that happens to you, every interaction point, every single case, they said Badar murdered Michelle Pogmore. Every single murder case is done by the police. Badar from 2004 to 2003 to 2014 till he was arrested, Robert Meager. And every case done by the police because you identified them in a child murder case, in a pedophile case. So we're picking them up. So we have the satellite tracking for everything and the mass spectrometry.
What happens if you have something like this, and you want to find out if something like this is inside? Obviously you can't tell just by looking at it, but if you separate things out, the answer becomes clear. Scientists have the same problem. How do you know if there was once water on Mars? Or, for that matter, life? Obviously you can't tell just by looking at pictures of Mars, but scientists think the answer may lie hidden in tiny molecules in Martian soil. So how do you take apart a molecule to see what's inside? Luckily, scientists have a tool to do just that. It's called a mass spectrometer, and it lets us take an extremely close look at whatever we're studying. And even though Mars immediately comes to mind, mass spectrometers are used in multiple NASA missions. They're also used in labs for hundreds of scientific purposes. But the important question is, how does it work? Today we'll be looking at a special kind of spectrometer called the quadrupole mass spectrometer. It's called this because of the 4 long poles that make up the center of the instrument. So say you have a sample that's been turned into a gas, and you want to find out if it contains certain things. The gas is sent into the mass spectrometer, first hitting a piece called the ion source. Here, a stream of electrons hits the molecule, breaking it into fragments and giving each fragment a charge. Next, the fragments enter what's called the analyzer. Here, they're separated based on their mass, and the analyzer is tuned so that only the fragments we want to see make it all the way through. Everything else flies off in a different direction. After this, the fragments hit what's called the detector, and scientists record the data. If you're looking for more than one kind, the analyzer can scan across a range of fragments, building up a record of not only what kind, but how many. Once you have these results, called a mass spectrum, you can verify that your sample in fact contains what you're looking for. And here, the real work begins. The mass spectrometer is a powerful tool, and by taking many samples, looking at the results, and studying what we find, scientists can work to discover not only the secrets of water and life on Mars, but also answers to bigger questions about the universe. And all by studying something as tiny as a molecule.
Mass spectroscopy. So we examined 300 rocks. We examined every single rock from the Blue Mountains, every concrete block in Australia for trace evidence. Examination to discriminate drug source, cocaine and ice At a molecular level, progress application microbeam X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy in forensic science at a molecular level on rocks and murder crime scene samples and their DNA from space, from the NASA space station. So we couldn't get people on the ground. They were murdering us, harassing us. We examined every concrete block, every rock in Australia for traces of cocaine, ice and DNA. So we picked up all the rocks. The FBI alleged they found 300 rocks in the Blue Mountain, New South Wales region suspected to be used in murder crime scenes in concrete block cases. Asia Opens P1 child birthday party murder concrete block cases. FBI alleged the rocks and murder crime scenes easily distinguishable used on users came from the Ku Klux Klan. It's been 9 years since we've opened P1 concrete block murder cases. So 9 years ago we had to abandon because they were murdering us. They murdered all the FBI. Providing accurate, complete and timely forensic analysis, including reporting testimony and technical, accurate, complete and timely forensic analysis, including reporting testimony and documents and trace evidence examinations in discrimination of drug source, cocaine and ice, at a molecular level. So you only need one molecule to be detected by the mass spectrometer on the space station. From space, that's brief 918. So we did 5,000 cases now. We have the satellite tracking. They're all pedophiles. Every interaction point they're getting away with it. 921, they interaction points. Every time you interact with them, they ring you, contact you, send you an email, send you a message, go on television. They're getting away with child murder. They're all pedophiles. And we're picking them up. ASIO are picking them up now. They have arrangements with everyone where they don't pick them up, but they just do whatever they want. And they don't let anyone do any work, they murder them. Anyone that identified, they move you to schizophrenic programs, anyone homeless programs, they remove you from work, they move you to another area. So we're picking them up, mass spectroscopy. For every single case, we have the satellite tracking. So with the satellite tracking, we track suspects and people they associate with, all the conversations, car number plates, pedestrians, age, gender, clothes they wear, hairstyles, crowds, people get together, track individual conversations through the crowd. So in all that satellite tracking, we have what they said to each other, who they interacted with, for every single case, including Michelle Pogmore's case. So in Michelle Pogmore's case, it's alleged, she was interacting with the politicians, with the Liberal Party election architects, and the Hornsby Police, the Eastwood Police, Blacktown Police, and with Meagher's people, the election architects. And they were so we got all the conversations for every single homicide case we redid with the ADF, with the US military, namely the US military. And they murder everyone. They get into these positions and they murder everyone that did the work. So we've got to be mindful and vigilant of that. So we ask the cops if they want to use, for their suspects, they want to use the satellite tracking or the mass spectroscopy for their cases. They don't. It's alleged the cops murdered everyone, so the interaction points, they're getting away with every single case, 921. So essentially they're the Jesus, picking suspects, the world leaders, the royal family, the people on the camera are the stars. They're picking suspects out of a crowd, people that identify them as pedophiles. You said something about a child case. They're picking people out of a crowd. Police look at matches. They say on the LRAD, so they start megaring LRADing you, and they pick you up and they see if you say case details and hovering as well. They hover around. They see if they ask you questions. They field the hovering and they field the LRAD. Oh, where were you for Pogmore? How do you know about the case? You might have looked it up. They got quite often, every single case, they'll say, oh, you looked up the page. What do you know about it? And they're talking about it on LRAD and they field it. They look at matches, what they say on the LRAD. So they give case details on the LRAD. They talk about the case non-stop on the LRAD. They talk about the case. And they're hovering, they talk about the case. You've got Mars people there, got Mars cops people there. They talk about the Michelle Pogmore case. Your fingernail, this, that, the other thing. Case details to put you into mental health or to get you, that you know about it. And the cops ask you how you know about it. And because you know about it, apparently it's you. It's because you identified them in a trial case. They're trained on face value of what they say. So because of people what they say, you're boisterous, facial expressions, what he's doing, and they wait till you get tired to arrest you. They will alert someone, give them a call, someone that identified them, put them into homeless. So they will give an alert to someone to give them a call. They'll alert someone to give them a call that identified them. And they'll tell you that you need a rest. They'll stop you from investigating. They stop your allegations. This is how they stop the allegations into mental health, remove you from work. They give you a lot of problems. And the problems they give you is because they every interaction point 921. So they will alert someone to give them a call. The police, fire, ambulance, emergency services, mental health, a member of the community, to give you a rest to cease and desist, essentially to cease and desist from the allegation. To give you a call, the police to call in, you're not feeling well, they want to take you to mental health, to stop your allegation. They're all pedophiles. So they'll say your allegation doesn't match your ambition. So once they've removed you in the homeless program, they've stuffed your rent, stuffed your family, stuffed your education, ruined your work. They say your gratification doesn't meet your ambition, then they make an excuse that it doesn't meet their ambition. Because this is all because of your allegations. The police will say that your work ambitions, your studies, doesn't match your ambition, your outcome. They won't say that's because they ruined your girlfriend, they ruined your studies, they ruined your money management, they ruined your school, they ruined your education. They'll say that the case gratification doesn't match the ambition, which means your allegation, so they'll defend the allegation in somewhat that you made against them, that they're pedophiles, that Badar was with Michelle Pogmore, that the gratification doesn't match the ambition. Facial recognition to become, then they'll use that facial recognition, face value, what they get people on face value, what they say, to get into future, they want that to get the ASIO technology, to get the shushes, then get the shushes to become ASIO. Then they'll put all that stuff that they do to become ASIO, to get that, to murder people as ASIO with the shushes. They want the shushes to then, instead of getting people on face value, moving into homeless, schizophrenic programs, work removal replacement programs, they get the shushes to murder you because you identify them as pedophiles. So we ask a question. The FBI asks, is it used to target ethnic minorities? ASIO asks, is it used to target ethnic minorities and crack down on dissidents and activists? I'm in the FBI ASIO I am. I got all my FBI certification. I'm an inspector in the police. So the answer is, so we ask again, the FBI ASIO asks, is it used to target ethnic minorities and crack down on dissidents and activists? Because people do use it on pedophiles, people that identify them as pedophiles, from the ABC Operations Centre, from the Police Operations Centre. So we go over that again. We've got 5,000 cases, we have the satellite tracking for each case. They're all pedophiles, anyone that identified them. So we've got the interaction points, 921. Everything they do to get away with child murder, how they interact with you. Once you identify them in a case, you solve a case, you send information in, they start interacting with you. Every interaction they have with you, they're getting away with a case. And we're picking them up, ASIO arresting them. It's very difficult to get them arrested. They ignore us, ignore all our findings, they say we're not ASIO, they want to murder us. Forensic mass spectrometry from the space station. We couldn't get people on the ground to do it. They murder them when they get off the airport. The FBI, they murdered them. As soon as they get off the plane, they apply a visa, they identify we're doing Harr's work, he's a national security, they murder them. The federal police murder them. All the people in Home Affairs. All the people on the Michelle Pogmore video. So we get to that, we'll cover the Michelle Pogmore video again. mass spectroscopy. We identified 300 rocks in the Blue Mountains with trace evidence of, on a molecular level, of ice and cocaine from murder suspects from Police Clan Australia, PKA. Police Clan Australia concrete block, ASIO opens P1 trial murder, concrete block murder cases. So we track suspects, people associated with car number plates, pedestrians, age, gender, clothes they wear, hairstyles, crowds. People get together, track individual conversations. We have the conversations for every case. For every single case, we've redone every single case. The US military and the ADF. So this Howie Sonic unit, when you put the Howie Sonic unit, it comes in with a lot of video merging technology, where videos converge into national security programs, where it gets the satellite tracking, identify them, activates phone cameras, etc. We've got all the satellite spy technology who they conversate with, all the interactions like this Chinese tracking in every single case. If the cops have a suspect, do they want to use this mass spectroscopy and satellite tracking on it? And they don't. They don't want to use it. So the camera people, Buttard, Marr, the architects, the Liberal Party on the camera, the royal family are on Michelle Pogmore's camera, all the people, the world leaders, they're all the people on Michelle Pogmore's movie. Because Louisa put them into, Louisa got all her people. Essentially they're all Louisa's people. Former Hells Angels, she put all her people in 2016, 2015, 16 and 17, when she was supposedly in ASIO and doing her stuff. She put all her people into key positions around the world. Christopher Wray, the world leaders, World Bank, royal family, they're in the Pogmore video. Essentially they're the Pogmore video, picking suspects out of a crowd. Anyone, they're all pedophile devil worshippers, all pedophile. So these people on the Pogmore video, the royal family, the world leaders, all Louisa's people became the world leaders, devil worshippers. They're picking suspects out of a crowd. That anyone that identifies them, they move them in homeless programs, schizophrenic programs, or replace you from work. Police, they look at matches to see where they're hover around, talk about case details. Even on the TV talk, they talk about case details. They interview you to see whether what you say matches what they're talking about. That you might have looked up the web page, they might pick you up. They're trained on face value, or what they say, facial expressions, what he's doing, and they wait till you get tired. They will alert someone to give them a call because you identified them. In a child murder case as pedophiles, a child murder evidence, or in a case, to give you a rest into mental health, homelessness program, or to cease and desist from those allegations. The pedophiles, the gratification doesn't match the ambition. Then they'll say the gratification doesn't match the ambition. With your work, once they ruin your work, studies, health appointments, they'll say your gratifications don't match the ambition. Facial recognition to become, then they'll use all that, they want all that stuff to become ASIO, to get the shushes, to kill people. Rather than doing into homeless programs, schizophrenic programs, it's all known as area denial programs, to kill people, rather than making them homeless, work removal programs, unemployed. You become homeless, mental health, homeless, you lose your house, lose your family. It happened to me for more than 17, 18 years. It happened to all the pedophile cops. And they didn't know what was happening. And I work for the Child Protection Unit UR. So we asked, is it used to target minorities and crack down on resident activists? Used on people that identify them as pedophiles. People that identify them as pedophiles from the OBC Operations Centre